When planning a city break, Paris or Rome might first come to mind, rather than the Hungarian capital of Budapest. But those who visit this lesser-known capital will soon find it is one of Europe's best-kept secrets. This extraordinary city offers an unbounded wealth of art, history and architecture, from ancient churches and extravagant palaces to the magnificent 19th century edifices that line the shores of the Danube. The array of cultural delights here is just astounding. Not surprisingly, many parts of Budapest are now protected as World Heritage Sites, and after coping with centuries of unrest, this new status has been welcomed by the Hungarians who reside here. Still, you will find that remnants of a more turbulent time remain, and we will have the opportunity to delve into the city's difficult past, as well as enjoying the more pleasant locations within Budapest. Strolling down elegant boulevards, exploring tranquil parks, and even a visit to an island once the retreat of nuns and monks are all on our packed itinerary. You'll have the opportunity to see the biggest synagogue in Europe, some Turkish baths, and if there's time, even stop in one of the city's airy squares to enjoy some of the local cakes and pastries. There's certainly plenty to see in Budapest, and by the end of the tour, you'll be captivated by this enchanting capital city. Evidence of the first inhabitants of the region where Budapest now stands in the Carpathian Basin dates as far back as the Paleolithic era. Since then there have been many different settlers, from the Romans to the Goths, until the ancestors of modern Hungarians, the Magyars, arrived here in the 9th century. These tribes, led by Prince Arpad, migrated from the Urals in Russia, are believed to have settled here around 896 AD. The Arpad dynasty reigned for centuries, but it wasn't until the reign of Bela IV in the 13th century that the capital of the Hungarians was moved to Buda. And where better to begin our tour of the city of Budapest than the site where King Bela built his fortress on Castle Hill centuries ago. Today, the best route up to Buda from the plains of the Danube is the funicular railway, which has been operating here for over a century. No one knows exactly where Bela built his original fortress as protection from the invading Mongol armies, but nonetheless, once you reach the top of Castle Hill, the grand palace that now overlooks Budapest will give visitors a real taste of the city's ancient past. This glorious castle has evolved from a Gothic palace built by the Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund of Luxembourg. By the 15th century, this was, in fact, one of the greatest palaces in Europe. Sadly, constant attacks from one century to the next have taken their toll. Much of the older parts of the building no longer exist, but determined to keep their palace, the Hungarians have persisted in rebuilding Buda Castle each time its walls and roofs crumble beneath enemy attacks. After the most recent bombardment during the Second World War, The royal palace has now been restored to its former glory and is certainly an impressive sight. This sprawling complex now houses the Hungarian National Gallery, the Budapest Museum, and the Széchenyi National Library. But before stepping inside to absorb art and historical artifacts, there are some lovely features to explore around the palace exterior.